Stay tuned for Butler on Business, coming up next on the Liberty Express.
My name is Jason Riddle in the studio with Alan Butler. We're joined now on the phone by Erica Gordon. She's the Director of Policy and Government Affairs at the Citizens Against Government Waste. Citizens Against Government Waste is an active member of the Dollar Coin Alliance and has been working on the issue we're going to be talking about today for a number of years. What we wanted to talk about, the Obama administration's decision to suspend the presidential $1 coin program is a way to save the taxpayers' money. But as Erica is going to explain to us, the opposite, in fact, is true. Erica, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Erica, now, the problem I've come to find on most of these dollar coins is that people just don't want to circulate them.
That's absolutely right. You know, the dollar coin faces competition with the dollar bill, and this is a political problem because the Fed really protects dollar bills. They don't make any money off of dollar coins, and they've really set up a lot of red tape to the circulation of dollar coins, and therefore they really haven't had a fair chance. People actually really do like dollar coins when you explain that there's significant cost savings associated with dollar coins. Support for the coin flips 2 to 1.
Well, Erica, tell us a little bit about that cost savings. How much are we talking about here? Why do we even see cost savings from using coins instead of the paper dollars?
Well, the Government Accountability Office has estimated that dollar coins would actually save taxpayers about $184 million a year. That amounts to about $5.5 billion over the next 30 years. And this really has to do with the fact that dollar coins are much more durable than dollar bills. Dollar bills cost about 2.7 cents to produce, but only last about 40 months, whereas dollar coins cost about 15 cents to produce and last 34 years on average. They're 100% recyclable, whereas dollar bills are shredded and sent to landfills when they're done.
Well, you know, one interesting thing also, when you say that the Fed, you think, is behind the push not to embrace the dollar coin?
That's right. This is really an intergovernmental issue. The Fed buys dollar coins at face value and sells them at face value, whereas they buy dollar bills at cost and sell them at face, and therefore produce a profit off of dollar bills called seigniorage.
Well, what we have in the Constitution, you know, only the Treasury had the power to mint coins. So the coins that are in your pocket are issued by the U.S. government, what we call debt-free. But those Federal Reserve notes spring into being by way of debt incurred through that Federal Reserve mechanism. So the Fed does not like debt-free money.
That's right, and the Mint actually makes a lot of money off of dollar coins. Last year, the Mint made a net profit of $283 million off of the dollar coin program, which accounts for about 70% of the Mint's profits. And those profits go back to the general fund of the Treasury and are used to pay down the debt. So there's actual real cost savings associated with the dollar coin that's very valuable for taxpayers, especially at a time when we face such huge fiscal crisis here in the U.S. and we're looking for ways to cut waste. This really should have been the first thing to be done. It's an easy switch. We should have gotten rid of the dollar bill in favor of the dollar coin. Just about every other developed country has made the switch because they have seen that it's good monetary policy.
Now, why do you think everybody rejected the Sacagawea, or however you pronounced her name? And then there was the Susan B. Anthony prior to that one.
Well, look, it has to do with the look and feel of the coin. The newest presidential dollar coin is larger than the larger than the quarter. It's golden in color, and so it's easy to distinguish, and it's easy to use. 4 quarters actually weigh about 3 times as much as the dollar coin. So it's a matter of people getting used to it and people giving it a chance. And the only way that we can really give people a chance to use it and be comfortable with it is if we phase out the dollar bill.
Erica, now what do you say to people, though, that will mention that the coin drawers in a cash register don't accommodate the dollar coin, the vending machines don't accept the dollar coin? Well, how do you counter those arguments?
Well, that's actually false. Most cash registers, in fact, all cash registers, have a place for the dollar coin. Most mass transit agencies and vending machines accept the dollar coin, and it's a lot cheaper to process. The American Public Transit Association, which is one of the largest processors and handlers of cash in the nation, estimates that processing bills costed about 6 times more than it costs to process coins. So there's actually a lot of cost savings to businesses.
Now, keep in mind, I'm on your side with this one. I'm just bringing up the arguments. All right, what about the weight of having all those dollar coins in your pocket?
Look, people carry around heavy things, coins, cell phones. Four quarters actually weigh 3 times as much as a single dollar coin.
All right, now let's get back to the real meat of the problem. According to the Coinage Act and our founding fathers, a dollar is 371 grains of silver. And that dollar coin, by extension, should weigh 4 times as much as a quarter. The quarter should be a fourth of 371 grains of silver, and I'm wondering if, where that comes into play.
I'm not sure, but I do know that the current case is that the presidential dollar coin is about a third of the weight of 4 quarters. So it's much easier to carry around. It's much more convenient. It's much easier to process for businesses.
Well, Erica, tell our listeners if they want to learn more about the Dollar Coin Alliance and, of course, Citizens Against Government Waste. Where can they go to find out more information?
You can visit dollarcoinalliance.org or cagw.org for more information.
Now, Erica, do you spend all of your time on the dollar coin issue, or do you get into the Porker of the Month and all the other wonderful things that come from your organization?
We deal with lots of different issues. We're constantly watching what's going on here on Capitol Hill, calling people out for wasting money, for implementing poor policy, and we've got our eye on Capitol Hill all the time on many different issues.
Erica, we certainly appreciate you calling. We look forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. Sacagawea.
Sacagawea?
Yeah, it's just an Indian lady.
She was the guide for Lewis and Clark going across
that coin
the
fizzled.
country.
And I know, obviously the Susan B. Anthony fizzled. I'll tell you one that hadn't fizzled. It stood the test of time. The Morgan City silver dollar, the Liberty dollar. Those have lasted. In fact, it's hard to get Morgans right now.
Well, those coins actually contain silver, which that's a whole nother animal.
371 grains. I'll tell you what, I told you when it was my great-nephew, I was calling him my grandnephew. I got a hold of somebody. It's my great-nephew. And he pulled out that $10 bill, and I gave him $10 worth of silver coins. I mean, the weight difference was just staggering. You would really realize what they've done to the value of the money.
Well, since we've talked about this Dollar Coin Alliance, since we've talked about the value of money, maybe later in the show we can revisit the history of the dollar.
I enjoy the history of the dollar.
I think that the history of the dollar, having a fundamental understanding about how we transferred from a dollar that you alluded to, means 371 grains of pure silver. Transition to today, what we call dollars are in fact not dollars at all. They're Federal Reserve notes. But just to understand how we got from there to here today, I think does a lot in explaining our current situation. It does a lot of explaining where our country's come over the time. And maybe that would be a good segment to end the show on today.
We'll be back in a couple moments.